Welcome to the channel. People don't expect betrayal to come from their own bed, from their own home, from their own family. They expect it from strangers, from enemies, from outsiders. But sometimes the people sleeping next to you are living a second life. Sometimes the person you married becomes someone you don't recognize. Sometimes the people who promised to protect your children try to remove them instead. And sometimes love doesn't end with cheating. It ends with silence, with distance, with disrespect, with boundaries being crossed over and over again. These are not dramatic movie scenes. These are real lives, real families, real betrayals. And every one of these stories ends the same way, with someone realizing too late that the life they trusted was never real to begin with. A man in his early 30s had been married for 6 years. They had a 5-year-old daughter together, a home, a routine, a life that looked normal from the outside. But slowly, something began to change. His wife started rejecting intimacy. Months passed. Conversations led nowhere. Every question was met with the same answer: nothing is wrong. Then one day, after pushing for honesty, she finally said something that shattered him. She told him she didn't see the point of continuing the relationship, that they felt more like friends than a couple. He had heard this before, 2 years earlier, and back then he fought for the marriage. He changed himself. He worked on the relationship. They rebuilt, bought a house, renovated it, traveled together, created new memories. He truly believed they were healing. Hearing it again destroyed him. They barely spoke for days. Then he tried one last time. He told her he wanted to fight for their family. She agreed. They talked. They made promises. They said they would try again. For a moment, he felt hope. Then a friend told him something small, almost meaningless on the surface. He had seen her being dropped off by a van a few streets away from their house. No details, no proof, just a strange moment. When he asked her about it, she denied everything. A week later, she went to her weekly course. She said she had an exam and would be home late. When she came back, she said she'd gone for drinks with a female friend. That night, for the first time in months, she initiated intimacy. He believed things were finally improving. 2 days later, he noticed a charge on their joint account from an online doctor. £33. He didn't recognize it. Out of curiosity, he searched it. The result said it was commonly linked to emergency contraception. He tried to convince himself he was overthinking. The next day, while taking out the trash, he found the morning after pill packaging. That was the moment everything collapsed. When he confronted her, she said it wasn't hers. She claimed it belonged to her friend who drove her to the course. He asked her to prove it, to call the friend, to confirm the story. She refused. So he told her they were getting divorced. They started filing the paperwork. A new house, shared finances, a child, a life entangled in every possible way. Everything became chaos. Then something small changed everything. He noticed her laptop. She had been using ChatGapt earlier and was still logged into her account. He saw search history related to emergency contraception. That night, after she went to bed and he slept on the couch, he opened her laptop. For 3 hours, he read everything: messages, chats, conversations, plans, lies. She had been sexting multiple men, planning meetups, talking about facetaming while he was at work, writing about having sex with different men, sometimes multiple in the same day, unprotected, talking about men finishing inside her, asking whether she should take the morning after pill, using ChatGapt to translate messages and craft replies in English. She wasn't just cheating, she was living a second life, all while coming home to him, all while being a mother, all while pretending everything was normal. He realized something that broke him even more than the betrayal itself. She had spent their entire relationship making him feel like he was the problem, like he wasn't enough, like he was the one failing. Now he saw the truth. He wasn't broken. He was being deceived. And he was left standing in the ruins of a life he didn't even know was fake. But betrayal doesn't only come from partners. Sometimes it comes from the people who are supposed to protect you the most. A woman in her late 30s had a son from a previous relationship. He was physically disabled due to a neurological condition. He used a wheelchair, but he was cognitively healthy, smart, kind, independent in the ways he could be. A normal teenager in every way that mattered. She married again 6 years ago. Her husband knew about her son's condition. He said he understood. He said he signed up for this. Together, they had 2 more children. For years, things were stable. Then something shifted. After the birth of their second child, her husband's attitude changed. He started making comments, small at first, then sharper, then crueler. Our lives revolve around him. This house feels like a hospital. The other kids don't get a normal childhood because of this. Then one night, he sat her down and told her they needed a realistic conversation about the future. He gave her 2 options. Either her son goes to live with his biological father, who had been absent his entire life, or they place him in a long-term care facility so they could live normally. She told him no. She told him her son was not a problem to solve. He was her child. That's when he said the words that changed everything. "You're choosing him over everyone else." He told her that by refusing to be practical, she was choosing her son over her marriage, over their younger children, over the family. She told him she would always choose her child, and she asked him to leave. What followed was chaos, arguments, pressure, manipulation, guilt. His entire family got involved. They said she was emotionally manipulating the situation, that she was selfish, that she was sacrificing everyone else for one child, that no marriage survives when one child dominates everything, that she should at least consider a facility as a compromise. Even her own parents turned on her. They told her she was the problem, that her lack of adjustment caused failed relationships, that no man would stay as long as her husband had, that divorce was extreme, that she should meet him halfway. She stood alone, surrounded by people who saw her son as a burden instead of a human being. And still, she didn't bend, because some choices don't come with compromises. Some choices define who you are, and sometimes being a good parent means being willing to lose everything else. And then there are betrayals that don't look dramatic. They don't look explosive. They don't look obvious. They look small. They look subtle. They look like harmless behavior. A young man was dating a girl who had a past hookup with someone in her friend group. He didn't judge her for it. He didn't control her. He only set one boundary: distance from that specific guy. She agreed. Then one night, at a party, she spent hours drunk, touching him, flirting with him, while her boyfriend sat alone watching. He confronted her later. She said nothing. He broke up with her. She cried, begged, promised, offered to cut him off. He took her back. The next day, she did the same thing with another guy at another party. And when he confronted her, she said, "I'm just friendly when I'm drunk." Then she got angry at him for being uncomfortable. That's when he understood something simple. Cheating isn't always physical. Betrayal isn't always sex. Infidelity isn't always a bedroom. Sometimes it's disrespect. Sometimes it's boundaries. Sometimes it's choosing attention over your partner's trust. And sometimes love ends not because of one big moment, but because of many small ones that slowly destroy safety. These stories are different. Different people, different lives, different situations, but they all share the same truth. Betrayal doesn't just break relationships. It breaks reality. It changes how you see people, how you trust, how you love, how you protect yourself. And healing doesn't start with revenge. It doesn't start with anger. It starts with clarity, with seeing the truth, with accepting it, with choosing yourself, with choosing dignity, with choosing your children, with choosing your boundaries, with choosing your future. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from the life you planned to protect the life you deserve.